Good morning, students. Chapter 2, Human Reproduction. In today's class, we are going to discuss about the oogenesis. Oogenesis is the process of development of the female gamete or ovum or egg in the ovaries. The primary sex organs in female are the ovaries. So, in the ovaries only the oogenesis takes place. Oogenesis means it is the process of development of the female gamete or ovum or egg. During fetal development, that is during embryonic development, certain cells in the germinal epithelium of the fetal ovary divide by mitosis and produce millions of egg mother cells or oogonia. So during the embryonic development, that is when the female embryo develops in the mother's womb, the fetal ovary is lined with germinal epithelium or germ cells. So the wall of the fetal ovary is lined with germinal epithelium or germ cells. These germ cells undergo mitotic division and produce millions of egg mother cells or oogonia. So, during the embryonic development itself, millions of oogonia are produced in the fetus ovary, that is female fetus ovary. Okay, I will explain you in detail. During the first month of the embryonic development, during the first month of the female embryonic development or embryonic life, thousands 700 oogonia are produced. So, during the first month of embryonic life, 1700 oogonia are formed. And during the second month of embryonic life, 6 lakhs oogonia are produced. And during the fifth month of embryonic life, 7 millions oogonia are produced. So, at the fifth month of embryonic life, 7 million oogonia are produced. After that, atresia takes place. What do you mean by atresia? Means it is the shrinking of follicles. That is, many of the oogonia destroys. This process is called as atresia. And so at the time of birth, only 2 million oogonia are left in the ovary. And after that, at the time of puberty, only 60,000 to 80,000 oogonia are left in the ovary. So at the time of birth, only 2 million oogonia are left in the ovary. No more oogonia are formed or added after birth. And a large number of oogonia degenerates, that is, they destroy during the period from birth to puberty. And at the time of puberty, only 60,000 to 80,000 oogonia are left in the ovary. The oogonial cells, they start dividing and enter into the prophase 1 of meiotic division 1 to form the primary oocytes. So, the oogonia, they start dividing and they enter into the prophase 1 of meiotic division 1 to form the primary oocytes, which are temporarily arrested at this stage. So, it is an important point. So at the primary oocyte stage, it is temporarily arrested at the prophase 1 of meiotic division 1. So the oogonia starts divide and enter into the prophase 1 of meiotic division 1 to form the primary oocyte, and at this stage only it is temporarily arrested. The primary oocytes then surrounded by a single layer of granulosa cells. So the primary oocyte, it is surrounded by a single layer of granulosa cells to form the primary follicles. So it is called as the primary follicles. The primary follicles gets surrounded by many layers of granulosa cells, and a new theca layer is formed, and it is called as the secondary follicle. So the primary follicle, again it gets surrounded by many layers of granulosa cells, and it forms a new layer called the secondary follicle. And after that, a fluid filled space called antrum. So antrum means a fluid filled space. That is, a cavity or a fluid filled space develops in the follicle, and then it gets transformed into the tertiary follicle. So in the tertiary follicle, a fluid filled space called antrum is present. The theca layers get organized into an inner theca interna and an outer theca externa. So the layers, the different layers of granulosa cells, they organized into an inner layer called inner theca interna and an outer layer called as outer theca externa. In this picture, you can able to see the primordial follicles develops into the primary follicle. It is single layer of granulosa cells, and after that the primary follicles are covered by many layers of granulosa cells, and it is called as the secondary follicle. And after that, in the tertiary follicle, the secondary follicle develops into the tertiary follicle. The tertiary follicle contains a fluid filled space, antrum. And after that, the tertiary follicle is converted into a mature Graafian follicle. In the mature Graafian follicle only the secondary oocyte is present, and the mature Graafian follicle ruptures and releases the secondary oocyte. So coming back, so at the prophase 1 of meiotic division 1 only, the primary oocytes are temporarily arrested. After that, at the time of puberty only, the primary oocyte within the tertiary follicle grows in size and completes its first meiotic division and forms the secondary oocyte. So at the time of puberty only, the primary oocyte within the tertiary follicle, they grow in size. They accumulates the nutrients and grows in size and completes the first meiotic division and forms the secondary oocyte. So the primary oocyte divides into secondary oocyte and a first polar body. So it is an unequal division resulting in the formation of a large haploid secondary oocyte and a first polar body. So the primary oocyte, it is diploid. So the oogonia is also diploid, that is 46 chromosomes. The primary oocyte is also diploid, but after the primary oocyte divides, the secondary oocyte is haploid. So the primary oocyte divides and produces a large haploid secondary oocyte and the first polar body. The first polar body disintegrates, they destroyed. So during fertilization, During fertilization only, the secondary oocyte undergoes second meiotic division. So, second meiotic division is completed only at the time of fertilization. So, during fertilization, the secondary oocyte undergoes second meiotic division and produces a large cell, the ovum, and a second polar body. The second polar body also degenerates. The tertiary follicle eventually becomes a mature follicle or the Graafian follicle. So, if fertilization does not take place, second meiotic division is never completed. So, second meiotic division is only completed at the time of fertilization. So, if fertilization does not take place means the second meiotic division is not completed and the egg destroys or disintegrates. At the time of gametogenesis in females, each primary oocyte gives rise to only one haploid ovum. So, this is the process of oogenesis. Next, we will see about the structure of ovum. The human ovum is non-cladoid. Non-cladoid means without shell. So, cladoid means egg which is covered with a calcareous shell. Non-cladoid means without shell. Alethithal. Alethithal means absence of yolk, that is called as alethithal, and microscopic in nature, that is human ovum can be only seen under the microscope. Its cytoplasm is called as the ooplasm. So, the cytoplasm of the ovum is called as ooplasm, and it contains a large nucleus called the germinal vesicle. So, the nucleus of the ovum is called as the germinal vesicle. The ovum is covered by three coverings. It is surrounded by three coverings, namely an inner thin transparent vitelline membrane. So, the inner membrane is called as, or inner covering is called as vitelline membrane, and the middle covering is called as, it is thick and it is called as zona pellucida, and the outer covering is also thick and it is a thick coat of follicular cells called as the corona radiata. So, the ovum is surrounded by three coverings: inner vitelline membrane, middle zona pellucida, and an outer corona radiata. Between the vitelline membrane and the zona pellucida, that is in between the inner and the middle covering, there is a narrow space called as the perivitelline space. So, the space between the vitelline membrane and the zona pellucida is called as the perivitelline space. Human ovum is a non-cladoid, alethithal and microscopic in nature. The cytoplasm of the ovum is called as ooplasm, and it contains a large nucleus called as the germinal vesicle. The ovum is surrounded by three coverings: inner transparent vitelline membrane, middle thick zona pellucida, and an outer thick coat of follicular cells called as the corona radiata. And the space between the vitelline membrane and the zona pellucida is called as the perivitelline space. So, this is about the structure of ovum. So, go through the topic oogenesis as well as the structure of ovum. In the next class, we will discuss about the menstrual cycle. Thank you.